stream because my freaking personal schedule is garbage. I hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to share a really quick video on some of my observations today. So yesterday I went to the polls, and today two of my clients, if you will, or my client company friends who have become friends of mine, they're going to the polls today. One of their wives had just come back. The lines are insane. We're early voting in Texas starting yesterday, and the lines are insane. Hey, Joe, what's going on? Traditionally, I like early voting because I'm a busy guy. I mean, my schedule's all over the map anyway. So I like to go because I got shit to do, right? So, hey, Loretta, you go, and hey, KP, you go and you get your things done. And I got to tell you, when I got there yesterday, oh, sorry. When it got hot in here. When I got there yesterday, hey, Loretta, hey, KP, hey, Johnny. When I got there yesterday, it was at a local church, and which is a polling place as well. And the line was out the door and down the side of this little church. And it was just starting to enter the parking lot. And yeah, I'm not voting. I'm going to waste my time. I'll play with my ducks. Joe, we'll need to send you the duck hunter game, like when we were kids, man. And you could, crack, and then the dog can laugh at you when you miss. In any case, it was to the curb of the parking garage or the parking lot. By the time I left, it was in the parking lot and down, and my wait was almost 2 hours to get in for early voting. We voted today, hearing lines in San Antonio. We had them yesterday in a small rural county. Yeah. So you may want to, hey, Teresa, you may want to check. Joe, just take a little coffee and look like you're paying attention, and every now and then nod your head and go, yeah. But yeah, the lines were insane. People were really actually kind of excited. The people were, for the most part, in a good mood. People were not being horrendous to each other, which is nice. I mean, we're out in the country anyway. People are not happy with the way things are. That's something we caught. Everyone was trying to avoid talking politics in the election line, like the voting line. But you could hear people making comments and going like, I just paid $8 for a dozen eggs, and I just did this, and oh, so-and-so got laid off because his company couldn't keep the doors open because they couldn't afford supplies. And Tinkerbell and Adam. I'm gonna have to ask Joe later on what about Tinkerbell, because that's funny as shit. But yeah, people are going early. My colleague's wife told him that she tried to get there early. See, I made the mistake. I got there about 10:45 local time, just before like lunch, because some people take lunch 11 to 12 out here, and some do 12 to 1. And that was probably part of my mistake. One of my coworkers went there at like 8:05, and even he spent 30 minutes in line. Yes, Teresa, thank you. The Four Horsemen tonight. But I gotta tell you, people are not happy. People are excited about the election. People are showing up in droves. I don't know about California. My daughter and her fiance are out there now, so I'm going to call her and ask her what she's seeing. But yeah, the line was insane. 2 hours, folks. And I got there before lunch. I got there at about, 10:45. I didn't leave till 12:45-ish. And I had enough time to gobble lunch, and out the door I went. Thank you, Teresa. Absolutely insane. I'm happy to see people out. I'm happy to see people paying attention. And I think that's part of the problem why we have a lot of idiots in both parties in office, is because people kind of weren't paying attention. They weren't caring or giving a shit. And but yeah, so if you plan to vote, right, you may not want to vote, but if you plan to vote, gay, black, liberal, Christian, meth addict with ADHD that chews and watches them man-child off ramen and Pepsi, eat hot dogs is disgusting. Wow, Joe, that's a lot to unpack there. Dude, that's exactly how my brother would describe certain people. Like, and he's a big guy like you, so y'all would get a kick out of each other. Tonight's the Four Horsemen will be on Vision's channel tonight, because I'm hosting it next week on my channel. And last week was Hudson, and a week before I think was Livingston, man. So yeah, it'll be and we do try to stream it to both platforms. We've been struggling. Some of the software we use sometimes gets angry and decides it doesn't want to go to one or the other. So but yeah, normally we'll stream it to both. Usually by now we're getting good at troubleshooting the software, because it never works the first time. But yeah, it'll be Vision's channel tonight at 6:45 my time, so 7:45 East Coast, 6:45 Central. Yeah, the MSNBC I stopped watching. It's just it just sucks. But in any case, folks, if you do plan to vote, even if you're just voting for the local people and you want anything to do with the Fed, or vice versa, you want to elect the president and you could care less about the local people, I would go early. I would give yourself extra time, because if the lines are this long now, I can only imagine what a shit show election day is going to be. It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to be, you're going to lose a few hours. You could lose half a day, honestly. I mean, I went the first day of early voting. Election day is what, officially 2 weeks away now? Yeah, 2 weeks away. And I spent 2 hours in line. In a little city of about, between our city and the town next to it, which is a good sized one, maybe 300,000 people. We're under 500,000 in the region. And took 2 hours. And they had all the poll workers there. All the machines worked. Everything went the way it was supposed to. So for those of you unfamiliar, voting in Texas is interesting. So you have to bring an ID. And they give you a blank ballot. It's just a paper, right? And you scan your ID and you put your ballot in the machine. When they scan your ID, it prints your barcode and all your info on the top. Like, it gives you a code and a number, voter, whatever. And then you get your ID back. You go to one of the machines and you put this long ballot into the machine, right? It sucks up the paper. And then you sign in and you start selecting who you want to elect. When you make your final selection and you say done, print, vote, whatever, it prints everything on the ballot in words, like, you voted for Trump or Harris, you voted for Ted Cruz, you voted down the list. And it gives you a barcode at the bottom, which reflects what you voted. They then go to a second machine and they insert the paper ballot into that, and it tallies your vote. And it keeps, hey, Rebecca Lynn, it keeps the paper copy in the bin under, which is locked, and then the machine takes a tally. And we started doing that about 8 years ago. It was during Bush, when Bush was in office. What's that, 2000 to 2008? And somewhere in there, like 2006, we started doing that in Texas. So it's cool because if there's a question, there should be a clearly printed ballot in waterproof ink on a piece of paper, and it's cardstock feeling, like it's thick paper, in that bin. And then, of course, they can do the machine, and if there's a question or if the machine's irregular, but you can also look at the ballot and make sure, like, if you voted for Frodo's actually showing up on the paper. And everything was working. They had a full staff of volunteers, poll workers. People were being nice. Nobody was being ugly. Still took 2 hours. So Johnny Preps, they did find some machines were putting the wrong president. And apparently some put Trump when they voted for Harris, some put Harris if they voted for Trump. One put gibberish on the paper, but this wasn't in Texas, it was somewhere else. So people were having issues with a couple of machines, but they were taking those machines offline. So we'll see. I think this time around, everyone is super sus. So everyone's paying attention to what's going on. But if you're going to go vote, whether you're in Texas or elsewhere, I'm pretty sure the whole country is going to, it was gibberish 2024. If you're going to go vote, I would highly recommend going early and give yourself 2 hours if you're going to early vote. Unless you have like the mail-in ballots that in Texas, you have to, the mail-in ballots assigned to you. So like you get this whole little package and you have to sign and give your driver's license number. And then it's, when it gets stamped at the place where they make them, it's stamped to your driver's license. And then you get it and you fill it out. And it's a very, and you have to sign it. It's a very formal process here. There's not a bunch of mailing gibberish and shit showing up in garbage heaps and whatnot. But yeah, I'm never voted. Solar line, nope, not happening. Well, I'll tell you what, you can, even if you don't change the, well, your system's different though. But still, yeah, people don't trust the votes. You can still affect your local, and your local will affect other things. Because if you vote for a very pro-Constitution sheriff, and the feds pass a law, he can refuse to prosecute it in the county. As a matter of fact, there's certain counties here in Texas that have actually, Texas, Oklahoma, and Tennessee are 3 states where we've actually arrested ATF agents and federal agents for trespass because they showed up. They started questioning people at their home. The people said, we don't want to talk to you. You can call my lawyer or make an appointment like a normal person. And they will leave. So they called the sheriff, and the sheriff came and arrested the federal agents. And it's happened. Now they stopped in Texas. And I think Tennessee's done it as well, and they stopped there too. Hey, Moldy Soldier, what's going on? But the way it's set up in the states, each state has its own, they have a federal guideline expectations, but each state sets their different laws up. So you can still affect the local. But yeah, hey, Neil, what's going on? But yeah, if you're going to vote, I definitely recommend voting early. You may want to bring a coffee or iced tea or whatever, depending on the weather. You're going to be there for a minute. Now, if you are, I did ask the poll worker who was kind of directing traffic, if you are disabled or someone in your group needs to sit down, they're not feeling good, they have laid out chairs. At least here in Texas, they have chairs and benches where you can wait until you get to your, your group gets to the front, and then you can join them. They've been very good about accommodating elders, accommodating anybody with a disability. It was actually a positive thing to see everyone doing the right thing. It's the way you would expect America would fucking function, excuse my French, other than it took 2 hours, and it just took a while. So give yourself time if you're going to go vote. I encourage you to do so, whether we think it matters or moves the needle in the big picture. Hey, Gerald, what's going on? I should have, you know what? I almost put your name as a write-in for one of the energy, like the solar energy commissioner. I almost, because you would put that in the other one. I'm like, I'm going to freaking put Neil here just to be a shit. And I could see somebody on the other side of this, like doing all the computing, and go, who the hell's Neil? Is this guy, who's this cat? They'd be wondering who Neil. That would have been funny as shit, though. I would have taken they wouldn't let us take cameras and take like pictures of our vote. There was no electronics allowed in there. But unfortunately, like had I been able to, I would have done that. And then I could have taken a picture of my ballot and been like, look, I voted you. Can I say identify as the first person in line? You can try. I don't know. Shit. There you go. Hashtag Neil Hahn. POTUS 24. Vote platinum. No, you should be Neil Platinum Hahn. See? Then that'll stick in people's brains. They'll be like, Who's that guy? Platinum. Yeah. But anyway, all kidding aside, yeah, if you're gonna go vote, vote early. People were well behaved. There was a police car kind of cruised through. The cop got down, talked to the poll workers real quick. They were like, "Eh," said hi to the people. People were like, "Eh," and then the sheriff's deputy was like, "All right, well, you all are behaving," and he just got back in his car and went about his patrol. So, well, Rebecca, you guys, something's going on in Canada because y'all, the checks and balances up there are not working right. I don't know how this potato you all have, your prime minister or your grand poobah or whatever he is, that the one you call Sparkle Socks. What's his name? That Quebecois. Oh shit. Why am I saying Justin Trudeau? I was going to say Justin Trombone. I don't know where the hell I got that from. Justin Trudeau. Yeah, that guy's a. That you should vote for Neil. Neil will do a better job, put you on a gold standard. At least your money will be worth something then. Good grief. Neil can go on, by the way, about gold standards and silver. Trudeau, I like that, Trudeau. But in any case, all right. All right, Joe, be safe in your class. Oh, God. He lives like a pig. Yeah, Joe's sending me jokes right now. I'll reply to you when I'm done here, Joe. Little Castro, he's a knucklehead. Well, you know what though, Rooster, it's civilization was why America was great. We've allowed, like, people when they came here, even if they came from a little country that was like largely like, ancient. When they came here because they wanted the civilization. They wanted to be part of this culture. I mean, granted, my ancestors came here with the conquista, and we went and had a 15-year war with the Aztecs or wherever the hell we were fighting with. And then everyone got smallpox and they all freaking died. And the queen was like, okay, all of you are citizens now. Gerald's dying over here. But in any case, wait, what did I miss one? Thumbs up. True dope. I love that. True dope is funny. God, that guy's a piece of work. How does he keep getting reelected? Like, y'all should make two Canadas. It should be like, Quebec and everything else. Because it's like two different worlds. I mean, I got friends from like Calgary, because I've been to Calgary during the rodeo, and I love that place. But then y'all are controlled by the idiots over in the east, and they're all a bunch of monkeys, and it's like, well, that sucks. Yeah, what's happening is a bunch of the Western Canadians are moving to Texas. Hey, Virginia, all the country boys and girls, they're moving down here. Oh no, Quebec is a cool city. I just don't like the politics. And for the record, Pittsburgh, they're rebuilding Pittsburgh. I love the people and the culture there. Philadelphia has a lot of like old cool stuff, historical stuff. I don't like the city. I didn't like it when I lived in New York, and I don't like it now. And nope. They can Trudeau to step down, pull a Kamala, so to speak. You know what's funny, Sassy? I wonder who they'd put there. Alberta voted to become part of America. Alberta would do better off with America. Alberta would wind up becoming like an extension of like Texas, Montana, and Alaska. The culture up there is super cool. But they're outdoorsy people, right? I'm still waiting for Idaho. Was it Oregon to break apart and that western part become part of Idaho? Well, because, yeah, Trudeau's a potato. That's an insult to corgis. He's not a potato. He's a dumbass. But in any case, so, folks, 2 hours. And I got there before lunch. And I basically spent the early lunch and the late lunch. Fortunately, I texted my boss. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go vote now. And when I sent him a picture. I lost the picture, sadly, of the line. And he goes, holy cow, this is day one. I said, this is day one of early voting. Election day is 2 weeks away. And he goes, and he's Canadian, actually. And his response was, I assume people are pissed off. And I'm like, you're right, they are. So, but in any case, look, folks, if you're gonna go, give yourself plenty of time. There may be a parking issue. We're even in Texas, the land of parking lots. We had a parking issue. Um, yes, correct, Sassy. Your employers must give you time to vote. So if you get a gap in your schedule, like my schedule kind of floats, just jump in. I'll just let my boss know, hey, I'm going to vote. Anyone who calls me, emails me, I'll get back to them when I'm done. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Mind you, this is the same company who tells me to go clay shooting with business partners, and that's work. So then they're like, do you want to leave your job? I'm like, no, not really. I get to make friends and go shoot shit, and it's work. So yeah, I can't complain too much. You know, I'm blessed in little ways in my life. I should probably appreciate more. Hey, farmer. But in any case, give yourself time. We need to only have voting day and not voting season. Well, so most states do 2 weeks early. Now, some states started 2 months ago, which to me is insane. You know, by now you're at the very end. Usually the last 2 weeks, there's no more debates. Now it's campaign rallies and stuff. But by now, most people have figured out, yeah, they're going to vote A or B. But 2 months? 2 months ago, they didn't even have the first debate. They had no debates 3 months ago or 4 months ago. Like, how early are you voting? It's insane. Yes, Johnny, absolutely. It is networking. I mean, I'm making jokes about it, but yeah, definitely. Also, it's how you get to know, you get to talk business, you get to talk shop outside the office where people can have more honest conversations. Lovely Sassy Gal, how you doing today, hun? So Sassy Gal had a bunch of good stuff on Instagram lately. I'm trying to remember the one I was thinking of. Now I just blanked. It's been one of those days. I can't keep a thought in my head today. But yeah, 2 months ago they voted for Joe. This is true. I lost my job after an invader hit the work truck I was driving. Rooster, you absolutely should. You know what's funny is the immigrants who are here, who are legally here, who it's taken them years to come here, are pissed. They're pissed. One of them just became a citizen. He's like, no, I'm not voting for these people because he does not like the lady who's running at all. And I don't know why he called Tim Walz a lesbian. I don't know if he knows what the word means. And maybe he knows something I don't. I don't know. I thought it was funny as shit. Regardless of whether you're voting for him or not, he just doesn't like that man. I don't know why he has this thing with him. Voting psychological manipulation make you fearful of an outcome already decided by Rothschild. Sadly, truth-seeking, there have been a lot of manipulations behind the scenes in the media. To your point, they're always trying to play the script, But folks, again, going back to my original topic, if you are going to vote, give yourself a couple hours. You may not need them. You may also want to ask people who did vote already where they went, because we just found out the bigger places in town have been 1 to 2 hour waits. Hey, Billy, and hey, Lioness. And the other, one guy went to some little obscure elementary school. They had like the voting area in the auditorium, and he said he was in and out in 30 minutes. So ask around, try to find out where the lines are. One guy, he said, I'm going to go to polling places. He had a list of them in paper. He's like, I'm going to go to all the polling places until I see one with a small line, and I'll go there. So anyway, folks, remember, early voting, at least in Texas, it started yesterday. Yeah. Started yesterday. 2 hours it took me, and I got there before lunch. So give yourself time, bring a drink or a snack, and expect to wait for a bit, because people are... This is going to be an interesting election. Now, assuming we don't get in a shooting war with China between now and election day itself, which you never know. As somebody pointed out earlier, the Rothschilds may decide that's what we're going to do today. And but in any case, correct, 6 trillion. No, honestly, it's truth-seeking. It's probably a case of voting for less damaging at this point. We don't have... I think a lot of the presidential candidates that would have made a difference were either indicted, didn't make it, or didn't live long enough to make the changes they wanted to. I mean, historically speaking. So, yeah, I get where you're going with that, though. I don't necessarily disagree with more things going on. I voted no on that. Would cost us more money. Pass with yes vote. Well, Rooster, my daughter's just moved to Cali with her fiance, so I'm gonna call her and see how the voting was over there. Neil Hahn, I'm voted for Neil Hahn's POTUS 2024. Okay, if somebody sends me a ballot where you have put Neil's name on your ballot as a write-in, dude, I will send you a copy of my book. I will for free. I just give me your address and send me the picture, and I will sign it and I will send you a copy of my book. I'm dead serious. Just so I can see that, because that would be funny as shit. And he doesn't have to be for president. You can make him like, mayor of Donkey Kong or something, whatever floats your boat. You know what? I'll send it to Neil and Neil can sign it, and then we can send you the book. So anyway, every single thing. You know what it is? They mess with the voting districts. So whatever you're voting, they've put you or your neighborhood in with a bunch of people who vote the opposite, and they dilute people's vote like that. We will provide is Trump's #1 most respect. Interesting. I'm going to look into that, Truth Seeking. Thank you for sharing that. That's interesting. Oh my, tempting, but Governor of California. If you put Neil as Governor of California, that would be hilarious. Oh, Governor of California. I like that. I like that. Neil Hahn, Governor of California. He doesn't live there, but that's okay. Neil would certainly be more entertaining than that monkey's ass with the slick back hair they got now. But people, how can they not? How can they take them 2 days? They should have it that night, if not first thing in the morning. Like, this is... How can Argentina... Because keep in mind, we're not tallying all the votes of the country. Each state is tallying their own votes. Okay? So Argentina has more voters than freaking... Well, Argentina was having issues until recently. Oh, you do live in Cali. That's right. Why did I think you live in Oregon? Anyway, no, because LA voted for Newsom because he's an asshat. And you know what it was? Diddy. Anyway, stupid Diddy. Okay, I have a question for all of you. We're going to have a vote right here. Put 1 in the chat if you think Diddy will not make it to an actual trial. Campaign for Neil in 2028. Put 2 if you think he'll get through a whole trial. And not like they throw the trial out, like he will get deleted before he gets through a trial. Okay, so most of you think Diddy might get Epsteined, is what you're saying. Or Clinton, I don't know, pick your name, whichever way you want to go. It ends the same way. I think Epstein got Clintoned, so I guess Diddy would get Clintoned. Ooh, that's a good one. 3, leaving the country. If he can get out. He'd need to get his passport. Then again, I bet he has hidden money somewhere. He may have listened to Neil's videos and been like hiding money and gold somewhere. And he's like, if I can get on parole or bail, he's going to go to that little cash. He's going to get his fake passport and money, and vamoose, he'll be out of the country. But will appear, but continues and get Clintoned. Lethal COVID. Oh, that would be interesting if he suddenly gets sick and he gets deleted. I have to say deleted on the internet, because if you actually say the word of that implies a fatality, then the internet gods take an exception to you. Sarah State was on all the talk shows, and 1 or 2 days to count ballots. You know the lawyers will be Clinton's, Maxwell. Yeah, the truth, there's so much. There's a YouTube video, and I couldn't find it the other day. I wanted to share it. This guy does an analysis of Pinocchio, like the cartoon. And some people are hit and miss with Walt Disney, the original man, the old man. Some people say that he was actually trying to out what he saw in Hollywood, and that's why he moved everything to Florida. But when he died, it got taken over by the very people he was trying to get away from. And in Pinocchio, there's a lot of references to Diddy-ish and Epstein-ish behavior, but the E is gone now. Well, Rooster, the shape of his island is the shape of the Nickelodeon logo. That's Splat. And the Nickelodeon was funded partly by like an Epstein subsidiary or something like that. It's really weird. I went down this rabbit hole with these two people. And, oh yeah, and Pleasure Island. Right, that's the other one, Pleasure Island. Little boys and little girls, and they were more afraid of, remember the fox was like, who do we have to, and he goes, no, we're going to take little boys to Pleasure Island. And he's like, the law. They were more afraid of that than going to remove someone from the planet. And they think that Disney, as he was getting older, was realizing what was going on, trying to out them. And they, they just kind of sequestered him until he was no longer an issue. But in any case, all right, now we went down a whole rabbit hole about Epstein and Nickelodeon and Disney. But point being, and they're really, yeah, well, they're all good people till they don't like each other for whatever reason. And it's hard to say with the powerful and the rich and whatnot. I mean, this has been going on since the ancient Greeks and the Egyptians. You know, how many pharaohs and queens were killed back in the day because, somebody did something. But in any case, folks, look, if you're going to vote, give yourself time. The line's already 2 hours. It was 2 hours for me yesterday. And like I said, I got there before lunch on a Monday, and it was 2 hours. So as you get closer to the weekend, it's going to be interesting. Right, but what's another name for donkey, little lone? That's where some of the symbolism, I know where you're going with that, but yeah. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, remember, people are getting riled up, right? It was nice out here. People are getting riled up, and you never know who's going to pop off or misbehave during election time, whether it's at the voting booths, in line, or you could just be going to damn McDonald's to get a whatever and a soda, and somebody's freaking out there. So I've been seeing a lot of erratic behavior in the cities in particular. I'm seeing some out here, but in the country, people don't tolerate it as much. So I feel like I'm not living in India. I actually understand where you're coming from there, sir. Yeah, it's like a foreign exchange, depending on what Costco you go to and what part of the country. But in any case, folks, look, go to vote if you're going to. Give yourself time. Get there early if you can. Bring a snack or a drink because you're going to need one. And make sure that you keep attention around you at all times. You never know during an election season who's going to want to do something, because all the unhinged people are going to come out with this horse shit. And we don't need to fight that fight. Take care of your people. And of course, check your preps, food, medicine, pews, etc. Do your basics. You guys know the drill. But be careful out there. Hey, Red October. And take time. Remember, give yourself time if you're going to go vote, because the lines were freaking long. So anyway, folks, I got to run. I actually probably have to be productive right now. So you guys be good, be safe. Thanks for joining me. I will see you guys tonight at the Four Horsemen, which should be on vision. If I'm wrong, we will redirect to somewhere else. Hey, Preparedness HQ. Hey, Red October. And Truth Seeking, yeah, I believe Soros has screwed up the shorted the U.S. I don't doubt it. You guys be good, be safe, stay smart, and keep aware. Like I said, the worst comes out in people in hard times. So we'll see you all later. God bless, and keep it real. I'll see you later.